back to another live here on the Invincible CEO YouTube channel. I'm so excited for you to be here today. I know that you have been anxiously awaiting part 2 of the Hidden Chakra Roadmap for instant manifestation. I have my other little screen here so that I can see you. So if you see me glancing back and forth, it's just so that when the comments come in. So I would love for you, I put in some notes in the live chat. So if you would tell me who's here, where you're from, and I'm really curious to know, how did you find the Invincible CEO YouTube channel? Love to hear your story. So if you haven't had the opportunity, there is a part 1 to this. It isn't absolutely necessary that you watch that first. We'll do a little recap as we start here, and then we'll move on fearlessly. So I believe I have it linked in the description box below. If not, I will put that in the description box after we're done here today. Just a reminder of who I am. My name is Dede, and I'm the Invincible CEO. And I have created this wonderful YouTube channel to help you manifest with ease. Manifestation is meant to be simple, easy, and fun. And I know that in the online space, there's a lot of confusion. And I'm a kind of cut to the chase kind of girl. I want to see you win and win big and win all the time. So I'm going to give you everything I got every single time that we get together. So nothing's hidden here, so that you could just use my YouTube channel and figure out manifestation for you. I always love your comments and your suggestions. So please, if you have any comments, you can put them in the live chat. You can put them in the comment section. That helps me out immensely because I want to know what it is that you want to know. How can I help you manifest with ease? I'd like to just take this moment to thank everyone, because last Wednesday when we were live, we were a little bit below 1,000 subscribers. And this YouTube channel has blown up over the past week. We're about 1,650 subscribers now. So that's absolutely wonderful. So I want to thank you for liking the videos. I want to thank you for subscribing to the channel. I want to thank you for sharing the videos and the YouTube channel. Thanks to everyone who is purchasing the digital products off the website, who is signing up for one-on-one coaching sessions with me. And we will be getting a group coaching event kicking off probably somewhere around late March, early April. So if that's something you're interested in, stay tuned. My website is www.theinvincibleceo.com, and all of my amazing links are in the description box below. So with no further ado, I see that there's a whole bunch of us on here. Again, hop in the chat. Let me know who's here. Where are you viewing from? And how did you find this amazing channel? Just love, love, love to find out that information. Okay, so we talked about last week, right? We talked about the lower, we started with the heart chakra, which I always start with. And then we talked about the 3 lower chakras. And we mentioned, I'm going to do a little recap just to get us up to speed where we are now. And if you don't have a notebook, I highly recommend getting one for these videos, right? And these are videos that you're going to have to go back and listen to a few times to really let it sink in. So I see you're here. Again, let me know who you are. And anytime you have questions during the course of this, there is a little delay from when you type it in, and I get it, but I'm doing everything I can to stay focused with that for you. Okay, so the lower chakras, we started with the heart chakra because the heart chakra is that chakra that binds together the lower chakras and the upper chakras. And when I talk about the lower chakras, I'm talking about the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra. And then when I'm talking about the upper chakras, I'm talking about the throat chakra, the third eye chakra, and the crown chakra. Now, I put the ear chakras in with the mouth and throat just because they kind of go hand in hand when you're speaking and you're hearing, right? So, all right, Nina's from Tennessee. I'm grateful that you're here. And Nina, I did send you that email with your card that you submitted last week. So just in case you haven't seen that, I did reply back to you. Okay, so now what I suggested, and all this information, you're not going to find this anywhere else. Believe me, I searched before I decided to offer this. This is, I go into wonderfully deep meditations, and just information comes to me, and it's absolutely mind-blowing because I've known about the chakras for years. As I've mentioned before, I'm a 9th degree Reiki grandmaster on top of all the other things that I do. So for this to come in, I was like a kid in a candy store, excited. So your lower 3 chakras, the roadmap is going to help guide the physical version of you, this body, this meat locker version of you, right? That how to behave. And I was really excited too. I put up another long video that, yes, Okay, which day is it? I know what day it is. I put up a video today. I was editing it yesterday. I put it up today, and it was how you can bring manifestation and the logical mind, because you've all been there, right? You've done a manifestation technique and it's done and you're in your wish fulfilled, but now what, right? What do I do next? Because that logical mind comes in. Hey, Katrina, wonderful. Hey, how are you? That logical mind comes in and goes, I should be doing, because we're so used to doing stuff that we can't actually begin to believe in the beginning that all you have to do is go, I want that, and that's it. And as long as there's no contradicting thought, I want that, that's it, boom, instant manifestation. It's yours. It was yours before you knew to ask for it, because it had to exist in order for you to form the thought. So you're the consciousness that allowed it to exist, to allow the thought to come in to say, hey, I want that thing, right? You're following me here. So those lower chakras are how the human character behaves. And the heart is going to tie the upper to the lower. So the upper chakras, which we're going to find out tonight, is how your inner me speaks to you through the subconscious. And remember, we said, if I say subconscious, inner me, higher self, chicken soup, I mean, they're all the same thing. If I say character, outer me, physical you, that's all the same thing. So there's this beautiful communication between the inner me and the outer you. And because the inner me can't speak in words, it's going to speak to you differently. And I'm going to teach you how to assign signs ahead of time. Because how many times have you seen signs, right? Repetitions. You've seen numbers. You've noticed patterns. And right away you go, what does that mean? That's a hybrid moment. That's a moment where you're between the two worlds. That's a heart moment. And I'm going to call that the hybrid moment, when you're kind of coming out of a character, but you're not quite connected to the inner me yet, and you're in that inquisitive stage. But if you assign a sign ahead of time, everything's different, because when the sign shows up, you know how to act. So we spoke last week that root chakra is all about survival. It's all about foundation. It's all about belonging, and it's all about repetition. So I want to give you an example of someone that, if they came to me for a personalized nutrition plan. So from the root chakra level, the manifestation, their job, their responsibility as the physical me, because you want to be a cooperative component. You want to be allowing the magic part of the manifestation to come in by not battling within yourself. Because if the conscious mind is going, where is it? And the subconscious mind going, it's done. It depends how much where is it the conscious mind does in order for the it's done to show up. Right? You can't get it wrong, but you can make it long. And it's the conscious mind that, it's not that it doesn't want you to have it. It just can't even comprehend the level of creation you're capable of from the human perspective. So if someone came to me for a personal nutrition program, through repetition, I would start, and I said in my video earlier, you need 3 months to activate, align, and anchor. So any manifestation, that technique can be instant. But I say take 3 months to learn the technique, just like you would learn how to play the piano, or you would learn how to eat differently, or you would learn how to work out in the gym, or whatever it is. I started hot yoga 2 years ago. It took a good 3 months before I understood all the positions, and they were in the same order at the same time. And it was repetition after repetition. So now my body moves and I don't even have to think about it. So from the root chakra level, it would be getting, here's the food. Here, you're going to eat 6 times a day. Here's your food that you can choose from. And this is now your behavior. And all you do as the conscious character is, when it's time for mealtime, you pick food off the list and you eat it in the proportions I give you. You drink the water, you do your cardio, and you do your deep breathing. That's the personalized plan. And we update it every week. Now, if I were to say from that same aspect, if you go into sacral chakra, I would have you do a vision board, because sacral chakra is transactional. It's one and done. So you're going to then create this visual, right, of what the body, go shopping, go online, go pick a body, how you want your body to look, go get the clothes, how you want, what kind of clothes you want to wear, go, and what kind of events would you be doing? Would you be going on vacation? Would you be going at the beach? Would you go out dancing? And you're going to put that on the vision board. So sacral chakra is one and done. One and done. However, you want to put that vision board somewhere when you wake up in the morning and you're going to bed at night. It's in your straight view. It's the first thing you see and the last thing you see, because it's not about the conscious character. It's about the subconscious mind and that repetition that you believe, if I put that on this board, it is done. And that's how you can use sacral in that aspect of changing your body through the nutrition. But at the same time, how you're helping yourself out is you're eating the food, you're following the plan. Because at the very least, could you just go right to the vision board and do it there? Absolutely. But how much would your conscious mind come in and say, I don't believe the board's enough. I don't believe just cutting out and pasting things and putting it on the board is going to get there. So you have to placate that mind and give it something to do, because if you give it something to do, it won't argue with you. And in the video that I put up earlier today about how I brought the delusional wanting 100,000 subscribers and the logical of, okay, let me give my mind some kind of framework to follow, it doesn't say to me it's not going to happen, because if it does, or we're doing it wrong. Because if it does, I'll just say, remember, that's not the job I assigned you. I assigned you the job to find movement forward. And then the conscious mind comes in and goes, oh yeah, that's right, that's right, that's right. I was doing the wrong job. And then when you get to that solar plexus, thy will be done, solar plexus creation, and this is powerful, and I don't think I said this last week, and it kind of hit me. Have you ever heard the story of an actor or an actress that is so into the role that they're in, that once they start doing the lines and they're on scene and they're shooting, they never come out of the character, right? They stay in that character. They don't go back and forth between the actor that they are and the character that they play. So when you're at solar plexus creation as the physical outer being, you can't go back into the old character at all. You have to be so all in. And that's where a lot can happen very quickly. Because if you are someone, again, with the nutrition plan, and you have 50 pounds to lose, you got to go in that you're already wearing those clothes. You've already lost the weight, or you never had the weight to lose, because this is just the weight you've always been. Do you guys understand? Please give me some chat comments. Please give me some video comments, because that helps me if I need to help fine tune and do more videos on this topic, which I know I will, but I really am using you guys as the tester of where are we and what are you understanding? Okay. So now we did the review of that, where repetition at the manifestation level of root chakra would be affirmations, right? And if we take an example of the affirmation of, let's say, I am happy, you could walk around robotically and I am happy, I am happy. And when you're not happy, you remind yourself. And I would say you start to look for things that bring out this happiness. Then you move to sacral chakra, and there it's about the feel. It's about the feeling, that the transaction of happiness within you. So you notice, what are you doing that makes you feel happy? What are those things that induce that feeling of happiness? Because it's not that you did the thing and the happiness showed up. You were happy and then the thing showed up. So we normally have it a little bit backwards. But when you are at solar plexus, there's nothing but happiness. You can't lose it. You can't. So I'll give you an example. I don't know if I shared this last week. I decided back in 2005, I'm not going to be sick again. I had 5 kids. I had no time for sickness. I have not been sick since 2005. Not a sniffle, not a stomach bug, not a nothing. I could walk through a field of malaria. I'm not getting it. I don't need a shot. I don't even have health insurance. That's how much, when I tell you I'm all in at the solar plexus, that's not part of my reality. Could people around me be sick? Absolutely, but not me. Right? That's how all in, and I act. So I don't eat to be healthy. I don't exercise to be healthy. I don't do anything to be healthy. I am healthy. That's it. Nothing more. Don't care what anyone else says. Doesn't matter what size, what shape my body is. I'm healthy. Okay. So now that was our quick review. Now let's start to hop over, and that's the outer me, right? And we said last week that the outer you is not the real you, because that you can be transformed. The real you, the inner me that you really are, is always constant. It never changes. And I talked about the transaction of when I want something, the outer me, which I call Dede, sends an order to the inner me, which I call Mimi, right? Because she's me squared. She's the real me. I send her an order. Now, I do that little imaginal act that I talked about. You have to go back to part 1 to remember what that the imaginal act is, of how I give her the transaction. And there's a feel that's invoked inside of me. And it's not the same feel every single time, but it's a certain feel that I know that it's received. I now know whatever delusional thing that I'm asking for, whether it's 100,000 subscribers when I only had 135, or I want a brand new car and I either want to give it to me or I want to just pay for it all, one and done transaction, because I've done the whole payment plan before, been there, done that, don't want to do that. I go very delusional in what I ask for. And I am so present with the transaction when I give it to my inner me that I don't care if the whole world blows up. I'm still getting my thing. I'm still getting my thing somehow. None of my business how. How is my YouTube channel blowing up right now? I know people are watching my videos, but I don't know how they're finding me. I don't know if somebody's sharing it. I don't know if it was shared in a group somewhere. All I know is what's happening is happening, and I'm enjoying it. I don't need to know the how. It's amazing. It's magical. And I don't want to get bogged down in that because I'm enjoying it happening. So now when we get to throat chakra, when we get to third eye chakra, when we get to crown chakra, this is how the inner me uses the outer world. And also, I always say your body is ground zero, right? It uses sensations in your body. But if you get too busy, it will use something out here, people, places, things, doesn't matter, whatever it can do to get your attention. Is everybody following along? So I'll give you an example of how you assign the sign ahead of time, and then we'll get into the actual chakras. So for me, back in 2017, when I was really exploding my business, now it wasn't yet online. It was all in person. It was all in person for a really, really long time. And so I made some goals and I thought, okay, I know what it feels like. So if there's a certain feel in my belly button, and when I made the goal and when I went in and I gave it to myself, and let's say I got a tingle at my belly button, anytime I'm walking around the 3D world and I get that tingle in my belly button because I connected it to when I did that goal setting for my business, it means in that moment, there's something right there. It could be a new client. It could be a new product. It could be a new opportunity. I get really super hyper aware in that now moment and I start looking around. Does that make sense? I don't know what it is yet, but it's almost like, did you ever play the hot cold game where somebody hides something in the room and you come in and you got to figure out where it is. And as you walk towards it, they'll go cold, cold, cold. Or if you get closer to it, they'll be like hot, hot, hot. I notice if the belly button tingle goes off and I'm not quite sure and I'm looking around saying, what is it? What could it be? I'll start walking and I'll notice, does the tingle get stronger? If it gets stronger, I'm going in the right direction. Or if I'm looking at a computer and the tingle happens, I'll notice, is it something in a feed? Is it something on my desk? Did something just get said? And I will notice, because if I'm on the right track, the tingle will get stronger. If not, it'll start to lessen up, right? And I don't worry if I don't get it, because I don't always get it the first time, but it will wrap around and it will find me again, and it will find me over and over. And if I'm not getting it in the way that my mind is trying to have it show up for me, I trust that my inner me will show it another way. So back in 2017, the tingle was the tingle, but I created a sign ahead of time, and it was a rainbow unicorn farting glitter. So, and at that time, and I always say, pick something that's not prevalent in your world. Rainbow unicorns were nowhere. I apologize. I am the reason for the rainbow unicorn explosion in your reality, because and it took about 2 months from me assigning the sign until the first time it actually showed up. So now my subconscious mind, my inner me, my higher self has 2 ways to know, and I'll know immediately. It's like that certain tingle, or if I see a rainbow unicorn, or even a rainbow unicorn farting glitter, but even a rainbow unicorn was enough for it to get my attention. It couldn't be all white, couldn't be all blue, couldn't be all pink. It had to be rainbow of some sort. And that meant there was something there for my business. So I went to this training one time, and I didn't notice it right away, but there's a whole group of us there. And when I went over to speak to the one lady there, she had a rainbow unicorn sticker on her computer. Well, right away, I knew she had something to do with the growth of my business. And we had great collaborations together. So when we're talking about the upper chakras, if we go to the throat chakra, which is all about communication. And I also, like I said, include the ears in there. It's about what's being said and heard around you. So you always want to pay attention to the words that you're speaking, to the words that you're hearing. But let's take it to you first, because as we said the other week, all of this is a dream. And you are the ground zero, and you are emanating, you are pushing out a signal, right? Just imagine one of those signals making that noise that signals make, the womp, womp, womp. And as you're pushing it out, now here's the really cool thing. This is why, as a personal trainer and nutritionist, you have to be properly hydrated if you're doing energy work, because water is a conduit, and you want to be properly oxygenated, right? Because the way I look at it is we're sending out the signal, and the better oxygenated you are and the better hydrated you are, the stronger the signal that you're going to be able to send out. And I always say that we send it out through the breath and the water pulls it back in, right? It's like you're casting out a net. So as you cast out what it is that you know you are, and that's the other solar thing about solar plexus. Who do you say you are right now? Not who do you want to be, not who have you been, because we did the 3 deep breaths on Sunday, right? We took 3 deep breaths. We centered right here, right now. We snapped the finger 3 times. And again, you can do that anytime you're automatically in this bigger, stronger energy. Who do you say you are right now? So if you say, I am a multimillionaire, abracadabra, waving the magic wand, boom, you are. How much does your outer me believe that? And what it's going to do is going to look for the proof. So if you say to your inner me, I'm a multimillionaire, and your inner me says, yes, you are. So now your inner me is going to try to help you say the words, try to help you hear what you're saying. Are you speaking like you're a multimillionaire? Are you hearing the things the multimillionaire you would be? And this is why in my training programs, we do character identification. We do a very strong jump off. This is where you were. This is who you used to be. And then we do a wish fulfilled, done deal. This is who you now know yourself to be. And then that in between, which a lot of people call the messy middle, is the bouncing back and forth between who you were and who you know yourself to be, who you are. But this one's always going to win because it's the one that feels safe to you, even though it may not be wanted anymore. And if you've ever had a friend, or maybe it was you in the past, that just seemed to be on a looping pattern. Maybe you didn't pick a good partner, or you didn't pick a good job. And it was just like every time you went to a new partner, or every time you went to a new job, it was, different places, different faces, but it was the same story playing out over and over again, because you can't escape you. You can't escape the identity of who you are. So you have to go, and if you've ever heard an actor talk about embodying a new character, their process that they do, the old you has to disappear. Because if you're still holding on to the old you, and when you're assuming the new identity of the new you, all the great parts of you come over. You don't have to totally walk away from everything. But that's why that 3 months is so important, because in the first month, we're really starting to identify who you want to be now. How do they walk? How do they talk? How do they hear? How do they speak? Because as a trained interrogator, not only am I trained to hang on to every single word, because out of all the words that you could choose, you're choosing those words, but I'm also trained to watch you. How do you breathe? How's the voice? How's the inflection? Because the outer character can't hide what's going on subconsciously. That's why we look for gives and tells. So now with your throat chakra, if someone clears their throat when they're talking, how often if it's one and done, then you just needed to clear your throat. But again, for me, that's something that I have in my foundational assumptions. When someone clears their throat, pay attention. When someone's talking to me and they look down, pay attention. When someone's looking up, But this is what it means to me. It doesn't mean that it's that blanketly all over the place, because this is how my subconscious talks to me. I know through communication from my inner me how other people, but I assign these signs ahead of time. So if you're looking down, you're not being able to look me in the eye. There's something that you're not certain about. Doesn't necessarily mean you're lying, but there's an uncertainty because you're shifting between characters of it is certain for this one. So you're kind of in that wobble stage. I look for that wobble. And that's why I always say the person who is the most present and aware in the now moment always wins, because you can see what everyone else is doing. You can see if there's uncertainty, because nothing is certain until you are. There's a video on the channel all about that. So now when we have the inner me talking to us through the throat chakra and the ear chakras, this could be something that you hear. Now, I'm very auditory, right? I will be auditory before visual every single time. If you're in being interrogated by me, I might even close my eyes because I want to hear your breath. I want to hear your inflection. But for those who are more visual, when we get to the third eye, your inner me may speak to you through movies and pictures and get your attention visually out here. Because, back in the day, I used to teach angel classes, how to communicate with angels. And I was really big into teaching clairaudience, claircognizance, clairsentience, olfactory, and I can't think of the clear thinking. Anyway, it'll come back to me. And I had someone that said to me, "Well, I'm blocked. I'm not visual at all. I don't have any clairvoyance." Well, can you see right now? Yes. Can you see in your dreams? Yes. Well, this is all a dream. This is all visual, right? Either everything's real or everything's imagined. So we just go with everything's imagined. This is a dream right now. You cannot prove to me or yourself that you're not in a dream and there's another version of you that's dreaming this right now, which is a really good thing, because when you wake up from a dream and you go, "Oh, that was just a dream," you're letting it go. You're letting that old character. So last night, if you had a dream and you had a car payment due and you're now in this reality, are you concerned about that other car payment? So let's just say anything prior to right now has been a dream. That was just a dream. And all you got to do in this now moment through the heart chakra is the moment of choice. Which reality do you want to start moving in? And it looks like this reality here, but this is where in this now moment, because that's why this now moment has to be good enough. If you're in a house that you hate, or you hate the car that you drive, it has to be good enough, because this is the place where your subconscious, your inner me, is going to speak to you. This is where your subconscious is going to give you the words, either. And a lot of times when I'm doing these, there's no script here. The words are flowing out and I'm hearing it for the first time as it's flowing out as you are. I even have to go back sometimes and rewatch these videos and take notes, because I allow this flow, because it's not about Dede, the character. It's about this beautiful consciousness flowing through this apparatus like an instrument. My body is like this instrument that allows this energy to flow through. And what my intention is that everybody is better off because of it, including myself, definitely myself, but also why, if I'm the creator of this reality, I'm the God of this reality, and how do I serve today? How do I God today, right? And if everyone is me pushed out, I love me. Why would I be mean to somebody else? They don't have to look exactly like me, but they're here for the fulfillment of my assumption. Every assumption you have has its complete fulfillment. So if you're assuming that you're wealthy and you leave it like that, it's very vague, then your subconscious, through your words and what you hear and what you see and what you know, right? Crown chakra is that knowing. It is the ultimate I am identity. And if you say I am wealthy, don't look for the proof out here yet, because you just said it. And it's just the same thing. But nonetheless, I don't know about you guys, but I'm sitting around with everything I need. There's not anything else I need right now to do what we're doing. And it was all here because I didn't go out today and buy the light and buy the couch and buy the computer. The me's of yesterdays did that. I look at this as I have 24 hours. I wake up in the morning, I just got here, and I'm this 24-hour character, and I get to move the peg on the board in the game just a little further. So the inner me communicates through the outer chakras. What are you hearing? What are you seeing? Whether it's opened eye, whether it's opened ears, right? Or it's in a meditation, or maybe you're walking in the supermarket and you overhear a conversation. And then, or you're at a restaurant and the people behind you are saying the exact thing that you need. Your inner me knows where you're going to be and who needs to be put in front of you. Right? I remember the one time back in an old storyline when I was going through a divorce, and I had 20 bucks to my name, and I had to fill up this gas guzzling car that I had at the time, but I also had to give one of my children $10 for lunch, which I was kind of questioning, would I be able to put enough gas to get home? Because I think I was about 30 miles from home. And I think I was like having a little mini breakdown moment at the gas pump. And I kid you not, I think that the name of the singer is Andy Grammer's song came on. You got to keep your head up. It's going to be okay. Like, because that's what my subconscious had in front of me at the time, saying, knock it off. It's all good. Fill up the tank. It's all going to be taken care of. Right. So I love sharing those little personal, intimate moments because I've been there. I've been in those places where I've forgotten who I was, that I let the outside reality try to dictate and tell me who I was instead of me as this conscious creator. But your subconscious mind is always trying to hug you. It's always trying to love on you, because if it didn't want you here, all it has to do is stop beating your heart. Your conscious mind can't do a darn thing to stop that from happening if that's what's going to be happening. So the very fact that you are so incredibly loved by your inner me, your subconscious, and it's just here to give you exactly what you want, and every assumption has its own plan of fulfillment, you got to let go of the outside world. You got to, it has to be enough. That's why that transaction with your inner me is enough. And then you got to give it 3 months. Promise me, if you're going to be on this channel, you give it 3 months. 3 months, first month of activating, second month of aligning. And by the time I'm in the third month now of growing my YouTube channel, it's a no-brainer. It took quite a bit to get the new mode going that first month, but I was having fun with it. Then we started to, get to the part where I'm really enjoying. I love what I do. I just wasn't so thrilled about being in front of a camera and sitting and talking to a computer. I'd rather have the real people here so that we can engage. And I'm going to eventually be offering some Zoom training. That's one of the things that I really love to do because I get to interact with you more. But it was all part of the process, and it's not always going to be that way. And I feel like how I know in my YouTube journey that I did the repetition, I did the sacral chakra. How I know now we're at solar plexus, it's almost like the roller coaster. Once it got over the hill and it takes on a life of its own, and nothing you're doing is making it do more. It's doing the more on its own. That's what we're seeing this past week when the YouTube subscriber is blowing up. I'm not doing anything more than I was doing the week before. I'm loving it just as much, but it eventually, when you're in the anchor month, it just takes off, and it's not something you have to do. It's who you are. And that's all your subconscious, because the subconscious, the moment that you ask, it's yes. The only one that's saying no is the old conscious mind. And that's why we got to give the old conscious mind something to do, because it understands through repetition things will change. But now it doesn't have to take as long as it used to, because, to get to 1,600 subscribers when I had 135 2 months ago, 2 months and 3 days ago. If you would have asked me how I was going to do that, and would it be here, because it's even ahead of the goals that I set. I wasn't supposed to get to 1080 until March 4th. So that's another sign that my subconscious is saying, you're being a great conscious character, because let's just throw all this extra stuff on. Keep doing what you're doing, keep enjoying, keeping it real, keeping it passionate. And so for those who may not totally be familiar, once again, the throat chakra is all about communication. It's all about everything you say and you do. Oh, I love this line. You have the right to remain silent, especially in the Invincible CEO studio. In the Invincible CEO, I will hold anything you say against you, because you're going to argue for your limitations, and I'm not going to allow that. And if you've ever had to go into court and prove beyond a reasonable doubt That's a huge burden of proof. Huge burden of proof. So anything, and this is like, let me have fun with you guys for a sec. Think of the last meal that you ate, whether it was lunch, dinner, wherever you are in the time zone world. Prove to me, how would you prove to me that you ate what you ate? And I promise you that whatever proof that you would give me, I could rip it apart and it's not proof, right? So you could say, you could have done a video saying that was you eating, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was you eating then. You could have receipts for the food that you bought, but all that proves is that you purchased it. But as I've said in another video, you've never eaten anything in your whole entire life because that's a concept. But you've bit food, you've chewed food, and you swallowed food. And as an investigator, that's how I can wrap you in concepts where you think you're answering me, but all you're hearing is BS, because all thought, even the best thoughts, is BS, because you were beyond thought. You don't need to think. You've never thought a thought in your whole entire life. You are the consciousness. Think about it. You want to get to solar plexus? You are the consciousness that allows every single thing here to exist. This wall would not exist if you weren't conscious of it. I am a figment of your imagination. I don't exist without your conscious awareness. Because think about this, up until a day ago, an hour ago, a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, you didn't know I existed. And now, boom, I didn't have to start from a baby and work my way up for you. You came in mid-story. How amazing is that? And if you think about it, when we watch TV, that's all that ever happens. If you put on a new TV show and you go into that pilot episode, you're thrown right into the thick of whatever's going on, whether it's a comedy or a drama. And there's a lot of assumptions that you have to say yes to in order to enjoy the story. That's all that's ever going on. So we have your communication at your throat and ear chakra. We have vision now at the third eye chakra. What does your inner me, your subconscious, your higher self want you to see? And a way for that to happen is if you're sitting at a restaurant and all of a sudden somebody trips and you see it out of the corner of your eye, and right away, boom, you're looking over there. That's what your subconscious, because what needed to happen, you looking here was no longer acceptable. Your subconscious needed you to look over there. So therefore created the distraction. And all there is now, right? So there's no more pushing this off for another day. No more pushing this off for another week. It's now. But when you're at solar plexus, you are so deep into character that you will not come out, right? So if you want to have $10,000 in your bank account, and that's the character you decide to assume right now, 10,000 extra dollars. And let's say prior to that, you had 50. You can't think like that version of you anymore. You can't speak like that version of you anymore, because when you do in the now moment, it recreates it. It recreates it right here. There is no past, there is no yesterday, but if you're right here thinking about it, it's being created right now. And then it's also creating that future that goes with this now, because there is no past. I want you to point to it. Where's the past? Show me where the past is, and show me where the future is. It's nowhere. It's now here. That's all there is. It's now here. So if you say that you have $10,000 in your bank account, you have $10,000 in your bank account. I'm not going to doubt you. Why would I doubt you? You're a powerful creator. If you say that you have 6 toes, you have 6 toes. You don't have to show me. I don't ever have to ask for proof. And that's how you know you're in the presence of another powerful creator. And if you allow that to be the last thought that you have on the topic, I promise you it will shift. It will shift quickly, because all you're ever doing is convincing yourself of what it is that you declared and that you're saying right here, right now. And why would you have a subconscious mind that would allow you to declare something that wasn't true? Isn't that powerful? All your subconscious mind is doing, the moment that you give it the order, it has the invisible team, it has the whole freaking universe to get your attention and to move you. But you, as the conscious character, have the free will of choice of whether to be moved or not. That's where your free will is. And if all you're ever doing is trying to convince yourself this is who you are, all you have to do is let the thought go, because you don't need to think, because who you are is who you are. And if you say that you're this rich, kind, giving person, then your subconscious mind will create an environment for it. Let me give you a more finite. I decided 2 months ago to blow up this YouTube channel. It wasn't until about 3 weeks ago that we did our first live. All of you are part of this creation. You were summoned out of wherever you were. That's why I love to find out, where are you from and how did you find the channel? Because all the people that aren't here on the channel, there are more that are to come, but those that are never going to be here, that's okay. That's absolutely okay. An example of that I give is when I used to teach at a night school, and there were so many different courses that you could take. And they would use one of the middle schools or the high schools, and we would be assigned a classroom. And I remember on the first night, everybody's kind of wandering around, finding where their classrooms or assigned classrooms are. And I always like to get there early to greet everybody as they come in. But the one thing I didn't do was stand out in the hallway as people were walking by and going into other classrooms going, well, why aren't you in my classroom, right? Why aren't you in my classroom? Why are you going over there? It was their choice to do. I was excited to be in the classroom that I was assigned and to have those people come in. So whatever it is that you decide, I want you to put in the chat. I want you to put in comments. Tell me, what is it that you're manifesting? Because I'm going to manifest with you. Because when you tell me, when I have clients and they say, Dede, this is what I want, and we give it that 3-month time frame, I'm already in your done deal. I've never come out of your done deal. I'm not part of your story. You can argue for your limitations all you want. If you say you want $100,000 in 3 months, I'm already there going, we got the money. What are we doing with it? How are we going to celebrate with this? This is the power of conscious creation. There is no 5 minutes ago. There's only now. And it doesn't matter who you thought you were 5 minutes ago, but at the solar plexus level, I am who I say I am. I am that I am. And we're going to get into the I amness of things on this channel big time. But your inner me can only use the upper chakras to point you to the evidence of what it is you're declaring right now, not yesterday. Don't care about your old story. Leave your old story behind. Who do you say you are right now? And then you, the conscious character, look for evidence of it. So when I was blowing up this channel, I gave my conscious mind, I'm like, I want 100,000 subscribers, but we're just going to double every month, right? So that was 270 on January 4th. It was 540 on February 4th. We're at 16 something. It was 1080 on March 4th. So all the conscious mind had to do was look for evidence of growth, right? Whether it was subscribers or view hours or comments coming in or people emailing me or getting the products. All my conscious mind had to do was look for evidence. And my inner me was putting the evidence everywhere. It's like an Easter egg hunt. And it's so much fun. But every once in a while, my conscious mind would go, is this really happening? Is this really real? Are these numbers real? And I would say to my conscious mind, that's not your job. That's not your job. Your job was to find evidence, not to doubt. And once you bring that conscious mind back around and it now knows that you're in charge, there's no doubt. There's no room for doubt. There's just enjoyment of the Easter egg hunt, because your subconscious mind is putting auditory Easter eggs. It's putting visual Easter eggs. It's putting spoken word Easter eggs that you're speaking. You want to bring things into existence. The way I do scripting is that it's the role of the conscious mind. What is it going to look for today? So if you pick an abundance card, and if you didn't do the abundance card last week, pick a number from 1 to 90. And even if you did one last week, pick it again, because you can use another one, right? Put the number here, and then I will email you the card. So I had someone today who had I am abundance. And when you declare now, I am abundance, your inner me, right? Make sure that you give it to your inner me however you want it. You want to send them an email in your mind. You want to hand them a piece of paper in your mind, however you want to do it. You make sure the inner me receives it and says, yes, it's done. And you'll feel some kind of sensation in your body. This is what I walk you through when we do sessions. And then you're going to look for evidence of abundance everywhere, because you're going to learn what kind of hearing signs will your subconscious mind, your inner me give you? What are you paying attention to the words coming out of your own mouth? Are they abundant words or not? Right? Remember when your mom said, if you have nothing nice to say, then don't say anything. If you have no abundant words to say, then don't say anything, right? If you don't have any business blowing up words to say, don't say anything, because you have the right to remain silent. And when you're silent, you're in with your inner me. You're one with your inner me, because they don't speak in words. The inner me does not speak in words. So the inner me is going to use words, songs, TV shows, overheard conversations. But there's also the crown chakra of the inner knowing, right? I don't wake up every morning, and I always get a giggle when I do this part. I don't wake up in the morning and get up and go to the bathroom and look in the mirror and go, oh, thank God, I'm still female. I'm going to female it today like I've never femaled it before. No, because it's who I am. It's who I am. And some people may look at how I female it and go, not quite, but that's okay. So you don't question who you are. This is who you are. And if we use an example of learning how to drive a car, right? In the beginning, it was a lot of repetition. You had to remind yourself to look in the mirror. You had to remind yourself to turn the car on. You had to remind yourself to look when you had to back up. And now it's just this thing you do. It's who you are. You are a car driving person, even if you don't drive a car for years. The second you get behind the wheel, what's that? What the old saying? It's like riding a bike. It just comes right back to you. Well, whenever you think you're learning something, everything's just coming back to you. If you've never played the piano ever, you can do it the root chakra way and practice and practice for 20 years. You can decide that you're going to play and do that inner transaction and then wait for your hands to move on that piano, because they will. Or you could just walk up to the piano and play. The only thing stopping you saying that it can't happen is a thought. Think about this. If you were to walk up to a piano right now, or something that you've never done before, if you play the piano, this wouldn't be a good example for you. But whatever it is that you want to do, maybe you want to run a marathon and you've never done it before. Whatever it is that you've never done before, think about it. And then if I say to you, okay, go do it, what's the first thing that pops in your head? It's resistance. But the resistance is just a thought. But you take the thought as true. And that lets you know what character you're speaking from. And that's telling you who your inner me thinks you are at the moment, because it's who you think you are, because your inner me doesn't think. It lets you take a thought and I let the thought, here, let me step back a second. You're the consciousness, and a thought comes in and it auditions for your attention. And if your thought says you can't run a marathon, it's auditioning. It doesn't mean it's true, because there's tons of versions of you that runs marathons just like that. There's tons of versions of you that, took a long time to run a marathon. There's a version of you that ran a marathon the first time they got up and ran. When I was transforming my body, I was a couch potato. I had done a 5K like once, and it was torture. And I had this idea that I was going to go from couch potato to 10 milers, because in Philly, they have a 10-mile run every year in May called the Broad Street Run. And here I was, I could barely get a mile or two in, and I was going to do 10 miles, and I had 2 months. It was March, 2 months to do it. And I did it in an hour and 50 minutes, ran 10 miles within never running 10 miles before in 2 months, because I didn't decide that it was going to take me 6 months to do it. I tapped into the versions of me that were already doing it and allowed them to take over me. And so that's another way that you could either assume the identity or allow the identity to assume you. This is how powerful you are. And when you realize how limited you've been playing things, you kind of laugh. If you've ever heard any story of enlightenment, the person laughs because you realize the cosmic joke you've been playing on yourself. So these upper chakras are how your inner me communicates with you. And again, how does the subconscious speak? Through repetition, right? If you look at the clock and you see 11:11 all the time, or you see 1, 2, 3, 4, that's your subconscious trying to consciously get your attention. What does it mean? It means nothing other than your subconscious is trying to get your attention. You then have to assign the sign ahead of time. So if I say, I know I'm going to win the Powerball, and if I see a peacock, and it has to be a regular color peacock, it can't be all white, it can't be some strange color I've never seen before, but it has to be a color that I know if I see it in full plumage, the moment that I see it, I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I don't care what I'm doing. I could be in the middle of a live, and if I see a peacock, and it could be a cartoon, it could be a stuffed animal, it could be any version of it, I'm going to run out in that moment and buy my lottery ticket, because that's my subconscious saying, now, I got to do it now, not when I'm done. Because if you're pushing it off, you're pushing off the version of you that's already assumed that identity. And that's how assigning the sign ahead of time. So your subconscious is going to speak in repetition, in sensation in the body, like I talked about the tingle in my belly button, and ceremony. When you are pulled out of your normal routine, that's a tricky, fun way that your subconscious is trying to get your attention on something that you otherwise could not get your attention on. Remember when I said I got the tingle in my belly button, I knew there was something there for my business. But if I missed the tingle sensation because I was too engrossed in what I'm doing, I knew if I saw a rainbow unicorn, that also was a sign. So I had the inner sign and I had an outer sign. You guys have been so quiet. Let's get some comments. Let's get some chat. Anything that you need more full detail on, because I don't want this one to go as long as the first one. There's going to be lots more information. If there's anything that I talked about tonight that you want more clarity on, if you go back and you watch this over again, please put those in the comments. If you haven't signed up yet I have a free course that you'll find in the link below. It is the secret foundational assumptions, how to create them. I give you what mine are. I give you a workbook. And then I start breaking some other foundational assumptions down. I think there's like 6 of them in there. I have more to add, so I will be adding more. But this is a total free course for you to understand how powerful. If I say I'm the star of my universe, then I'm the star of my universe. So if I'm playing a supporting character for, say, maybe one of my children or for my partner, I know that I'm not in my universe, because in my universe, I'm the star. So if I'm playing a supporting role, I know that I'm part of somebody else's universe, right? And I break down foundational assumptions so that you can identify and know them for your character. You have to create your character. Just think about if you were to write a book and you had to create all the experiences and all the scenarios, and you'd have to create the house and the neighborhood and the town that they lived in and the history and their future, but you'd also have to create the character. Another way of doing this is think about what actor or actress that you would like to get to play you in your life story, and then imagine them following you around, learning how to be you, to walk like you. That's why I love when the actors do impressions. I think it's the coolest thing, especially when they can get the mannerisms down and they can sound just like the person that they're impersonating. But it's really like that. You got to let yourself go. But these upper chakras are how the inner me communicates with you. And if a sign shows up and you don't know what it is, all it means right now is that you're becoming aware of your inner me trying to get your attention. But it also means that you don't know how to communicate with yourself yet. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's wonderful, powerful awareness. You have to assign the signs ahead of time. And I will be doing lots more videos. We'll be going live here every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There will always be the videos available if you can't make it live for the replay. I'm going to have so many more offerings. If you haven't joined the Invincible CEO Facebook group, I'm actually going to be closing the group down because I'm moving it to a private part of my website. So if you haven't joined the Facebook group, you can, and I'll add you in, but within a month, I'll also give you the link. And I believe that's the one that I have up on the links in the description box, that you can just join straight into our website group. It's not as active as the Facebook group, and that's why I'll add you there just for a little bit until we get that totally moved over. But once, because it's just so much more functional and it's so much easier to find stuff that you don't have to go looking through a feed and scrolling down to find what you need. It's very, very easy to move around there. So I'd like to thank you again from the bottom of my heart for liking the videos, subscribing to the channel, sharing with your friends, commenting, joining in the free offerings, joining in the digital products that I offer, joining in the coaching sessions. I'm having a blast. And I love to share your success stories, but I will only do that with your permission. So if you have a success story, even if you have a success story just from watching the videos, it counts. I want to share it. I want to spotlight you. And if you want me to share your story but not your name, I'm fine with that, because the more success that we experience with each other here, and guys, this stuff is easy. The easiest way, if I were to say to you, the easiest way to manifest, stop thinking. And then you'll say to me, well, I don't know how to do that yet. Here's a really fun tip. If you want to stop thought and you have that monkey mind and it's just going, blah, 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 ask your monkey mind, what's your next thought? And see how long it takes before a thought comes. It just shuts everything down. So a little fun tip there. But we're going to have so much fun here on this channel. It is my deepest pleasure and joy and a total appreciation to bring this to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Just a reminder, those upper chakras are not you, the conscious character. They are your inner me. If you haven't named your inner me, you got to name it. If you haven't named your critical mind, you have to name it. So in the video I did earlier today, Bob, because what about Bob, is my critical conscious mind, and Mimi is my inner me. And my job is to have harmony between Bob and Mimi. And when it's the marriage of the minds, right? The yin and the yang and the yin. When you bring those together and they're not fighting each other and they're working in that beautiful law of gender marriage, manifestation's so easy, folks. It's so easy and fun. So thank you for being here. Appreciate you deeply. I will see you next Wednesday, but check the shorts, check the polls in the community tab, check the long forms. There's more videos to come between now and then, and have an amazing day, evening, wherever you are. I will see you again soon. Enjoy.